A very good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I, Aditi Vijay, student manager, Balaji Institute of International Business, have an immense pleasure in introducing our guest of honor, Mr. Sandeep Banerjee, Senior Vice President and Head HR, H&R Johnson India Division. Mr. Sandeep Banerjee, sir, is a postgraduate in personnel management and has also completed an advanced program in strategic human resources from IIM Ahmedabad. Sir holds more than 22 years of rich experiences into various HR processes globally, such as strategic human resource management, performance management, talent management, HR discipline, employee relations, and industrial relations. Sir has a unique blend of experience of working in the manufacturing, pharmaceutical, hospitality, and in leading conglomerates in senior HR leadership roles. In Sir's earlier assignments, Sir has worked with renowned organizations such as Reliance Industries Limited, Taj Group of Hotels, Oregon and India, ISAB India. Sir's tenure at the Taj Group of Hotels was no less than a commendable achievement of restoring the morale of more than 1,500 employees who were victims of the dastardly attack on 26/11 at the Taj Mahal Palace Hotel, Mumbai. Sir was also a core team member in planning, designing, and implementing the Year of Associate Engagement Program for the Taj Group in 2009. And now, sir, I'm sure in this festival of knowledge, our student managers are all ready to learn from the eminent personality like you. And we are very much privileged to have you here with us both today. And so, heartiest welcome to you, sir. And now the stage is all yours. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everybody. Well, after lunch is always a heavy dose, you can understand. So, I don't want to take away your slumber after lunch, but at the same time, would like some eyeballs towards this site because I want to enjoy the next few minutes with you all. Objective is to interact. Objective is to enjoy. Objective is to share. Because it's not going to be a one-way monologue. That's not for what I am here. Before we start, I had a great introduction from the lady here. Thank you so much. I think a lot of spade work has been done. But yes, let me tell you, experience teaches people and also makes us wiser and also enriches us. But at the same time, that does not make us complacent. It makes us more responsible to be on the learning curve each day. Because in the last 24 years, most of the HR fraternity who have been around have seen 3+ generations. And you would be termed, I do not know what, maybe they're calling you Z. Well, that's correct, I think. So we're going to handle the fourth one. So for us in HR, in the leadership rungs that we hold in various companies, I think for us, the learning curve is becoming steeper. So it's not going to be a one-way learning, it's going to be a two-way learning. While we will share experiences, while we will definitely say what we have seen around the journey, we ourselves have to learn from you all. Because we need to see your mind. We need to see what you want. Because at the end of the day, I think we need to scale heights in the business rung that we are in. And our job together is to ensure that there is excellence and success in whatever we do. I think with this, I would like to request my colleague, Mr. Shardul. He'll show you maybe 2 clips just to set the tone. We would like to share about our company. It's a very small pitch of 60 minute or 2. It's about we achieved 60 years. And it's not easy to be 60 years in business. If you see the last 60 years Fortune 500 companies, you'll hardly see 60 of them together today. So the question is that to be in the business for a long duration, and I have been in companies like the Tatas and the Taj Group of Hotels and with Reliance Industries, which have been longer tenures of. So there is a lot of learning. There's a lot of change management happening every day. So Shardul, I would request you to kindly play the. Thank you.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. So we are Prism Johnson Limited. Uh, the company is into cement and tiles division. I would like to play a small video.
So thank you for being tolerant and watching a 2-minute clip. But the But the objective of showing this was that the topic is next generation leadership and navigating the future. So, if you are not reinventing yourself, if you are not changing yourself, if you are not questioning yourself, if you are not upgrading yourself, if you are not learning every day, you may be lost. You may be lost. So, the company that I am in, H&R Johnson and Johnson Tiles, that everybody knows today, has reinvented for the last 60 years. And that is the only reason the company still stands tall in the ceramic and tile business that they are in. So with this, I think I would like to share a small quote which Robin S. Sharma, how many of you know Robin Sharma? Good. Good. The quote is all self-explanatory, but it echoes. If you can read this, leadership is not about a title or a designation, it's about impact, influence, and inspiration. Impact involves getting results, influence is about spreading the passion you have for your work, and you have to inspire them, inspire teammates and customers. Well, it's a few phrases, it's a few lines, but it's pretty strong. It's pretty strong. Leadership is not about title or a designation. In our corporate world, we've got fancy designation for sure. And let me tell you one thing, as individuals or as human beings, we are also in search of esteem. Are we not? We like esteem. Let's accept it. I like esteem. You like esteem. You like to be known. And your visiting card should send some signal to the other guy. Somewhere we are in the superiority race. I don't know how many will agree, but that's what we human beings are. We try to outsmart the other person through somewhere, in the social circuit, in family, in professional circuit, and of course a title and a designation does matter. So important is, you need to tell yourself that you're entering a corporate world. This will be there, a title will be there, a designation will be there, but what matters is, how much are you impacting the change? That's what matters more, I believe. In this presentation, what is going on, there'll be something which will be shown, which I will share. But I don't mind you getting interactive. Raise your arm, ask questions. Let's be a little interactive. Are we all there on this? Thank you so much. Now, what are the pointers for the next generation leadership? Let's look at the red pie segment. Basics are important. We'll come to that, what are basics. But basics are important. You cannot take away the basics. Know how and when to adapt. These are not just sentences. These are just pointers, I'm telling you. You should know how and when to adapt. There will be multiple situations in your life. There will be multiple approaches in your workplace. But knowing how and when to adapt to situations is again a leadership skill. These are all competencies which is going to define tomorrow's leaders. Know what to do with what you know and do it. Know what to do, what you know, and do it. Diversity and global business applies to everybody. We'll explain all this. Be ethical and foster ethical behavior in others. These are not big rocket sciences. This is all available in Google, all available in the net. Nothing so complicated. But the question is that we read, we absorb, we forget. But how many of us do act? The people who act, people who actually walk the talk, are the successful ones. Simple as that. Because you all are going to be would-be managers. You all will be holding positions of responsibility, roles of responsibility. and you will be challenged with everyday situations. You will have to decide, you will have to act, you will have to adapt, you will have to be flexible. At the same time, you will have to show the way. Now the question is that, do you have it in you? Yes, you have it. Every one of us have it, let me tell you that. But the issue is that, how many of us are actually going in that road? Are we just looking for a job? Are we just looking for just to settle down in a job? I do a job, okay, 3 years down the line I change my job because the pressure here is too high. Are we looking at that? And I grow up the ladder. Maybe yes, 1 or 2 organizations you can grow like that, I can tell you that. You can pass on this journey for the next 7, 8 years of your life, post your post-graduation. But after that what? You'll be questioned. People will see through you. Because I have seen, and I'm telling you, this is the experience that I'm sharing with you. Because I have seen many leaders who were probably great in their academics, who have done very well in their professional life for the first 5, 7 years. But because the learning was not to the extent that was needed for an organization, but because they were not adaptable to the change, they couldn't rise that far. And I'm telling you with full amount of credibility that this is the game plan that you all need to soak inside you if you want to be future leaders of tomorrow. It's very easy. You see, leaders will come here, speak about themselves, talk about something and go off. But it's going to be your world for tomorrow. So you need to actually think what you want to be in your future. Groom yourself in that manner. Develop your personality to that extent. Think differently. Read. Please read. Good to see some hands coming up when I showed up the name of Robin Sharma. I liked it. But some of you may not have heard. So get into the habit of reading. Basics are important. Going into the red pie. HR professionals play different roles, don't they? They are sometimes consultants, technologists also in companies, they are change leaders, they are called change agent. Big word. I'm sure you've heard of this word called change agent, and in your books and periodicals you will see HR as a change agent. Can some of us just explain what is a change agent? Anyone? What is the definition of a change leader? That's the word I want to look into. Anyone, please. I would love to hear. And don't think, and be just, whatever is in your thought, just share with me. I want to just hear something from you all. Any hand this side? Yes? Change is something that is, to change is something, to challenge the status quo and do something different. Okay, buy it. Anybody else on change agent, and how does HR do it? HR basics, how does HR do it? Okay. Okay, I get your point. Technology advancement, change. So change the status quo, move on. Anybody? Dissent? Anybody? Yes, ma'am? They? Okay. 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 Yes, ma'am? Okay. Okay. All are very salient points. 2 or 3 more and then we will again deliberate. Yes, ma'am? Okay. Okay. Anybody? 1 or 2 brainstorming and then we'll again go to the subject. Yes, ma'am. Yep. Good point. Good point. I was searching for something on the people factor. Okay. You are an HR leader. And as the CEO of the company said, the CEO tells you very clearly, you see, this is not going to happen. This is not how we work. We've got a set of people with complete ideas which are of yesterday. You saw the 60-year curve of Johnson. Johnson changed over the years. That's why they're still around. Nokia didn't change, mind you. Not around. Again, trying to come around. I'm giving you multiple examples of companies who have not been able to change with the times. Now, what does HR do? As the HR leader, what is the role? HR leader has to play a very dynamic role here. First, he has to understand the business of change. Why is my CEO asking for this change? How is it going to impact the business and the future? So, the HR leader actually soaks into the business of change. You understand what I'm trying to say? And this business of change, when he understands, he becomes a business leader, wearing a people hat. And now he pushes the agenda with the leadership team, communicating what his CEO wanted, that this is going to be the business of change. This is what is going to lead us to. For this, these are the things we need to change. That includes, of course, taking technology also, right? Challenging the status quo also. Everything included. But it's all about people. Change is not about technology only. I can put a technology in place, but you need to adapt to the technology. Who's going to adapt? People. So that's where the HR head comes in. That's where the leadership head comes in. It need not be only the HR head who is doing the change agent role. It can be anybody in the organization playing that role. It can be the marketing head, the finance head. Together as a leadership, you do the change management. So it's very important that the basics of an emerging leader to be a change agent is important. Are we getting into it? Thank you so much. The ever-changing business environment, that is new age laws, innovation, technology, serves foundation for continuous improvement among the next generation. Okay, that's again learning. That's learning. We spoke about that. We spoke about learning. We spoke about change. We spoke about adaptability. We go to the next slide, know how and when to adapt. See, though this slide speaks a little bit of HR, but I would like to shift the gears and say that the business of yesterday is different from the business of tomorrow. The way you do business yesterday, you are doing business tomorrow is different. Today, as one of the friends rightly said, chatbots, AI, maybe machine learning, they are going to be the thing of tomorrow. Right? So how are we going to adapt to it? We got a set of people with a set of, it's cost, isn't it? How many companies adapt to that cost? Very few. Why? Because they feel that is it worth it? See, 10 years, 15 years down the line, there was a question mark. Do we go for an ERP solution? Some companies adapted and said, today it is a done deal, isn't it? Which company doesn't have it? Everybody. Everybody means companies of some stature I'm talking of. Do have it. They're all platforms are on mostly SAP or some Oracle tool or some HRMS platform. Don't they have it? They have it. But 15 years down the line, some companies were trying to adapt to it because it was a nascent idea. 20 years down the line, still nascent. We are hearing about it. Today we are talking of AIs of the world. We are talking of chatbots of the world. We are talking of machine learning of the world. Yes, it is going to be the order of tomorrow. You cannot deny that. But at the same time, it doesn't mean that everything of today is trash. No. Today's learnings, today's gaps definitely are going to be plugged in tomorrow's machine learning. So, what does it mean? Do we Have less jobs? Do we have no jobs? Will our jobs go? That's the question now. Will our jobs go? Why do you say with authority? I am saying your jobs will go. Refute me. Say example. I'll give you an example to you. Okay. Today there is a machine. Say for example, hello? Can you hear me? There's a machine today and it manufactures, say, steel. Okay. And today there is a person who is sitting in the control room keying some keys through which the entire induction furnace, the entire, what do you call it, charging machine, all is happening. We can see that. It's keying in something. Then only it's happening. It's mechanical today. It's also digitized. It's not traditional, mind you. Now in future, this keying doesn't happen because it's all programmed. It's all programmed. That this is the timeline, after that this will happen. So the entire keyboard goes for a toss. I'm just giving an example. This man loses his job or not? Yes or no? You sure? Now I'll answer your no and I'll be with you that he will not lose his job, provided he adapts to the change, right? Provided he is flexible, provided he has his learning curve going up and going, and he is the guy who is going to run that, what to say, bot or the learning curve out there. So what I'm trying to say is here, we need to adapt to that. Because people are a little fearful of everything today. No, we need to adapt. Machines will not run us. We will run the machine. We will feed in the codes. Right? So we need to adapt. So our curve is going to be different. It's not going to be a traditional curve of learning. So be geared for the future. So know how and when to adapt. That's important. So if you adapt to 10 years down the line, you may be lost in the curve, I'm telling you. But if you adapt quickly, it will be easier for you to be a subject matter expert and you will see more mullah coming into your bank, simple as that. Because you will be a hunted resource. Till today, in the IT world, there are people who are in the bench and there are people who are hunted in projects. It's not that those who are bench don't know the job, no, they also know it. But the guys who are there ahead of the curve has probably, the learning curve has been much sharper. That's simple as that. It's going to be that race now. So adapt quickly, learn quickly, and you move the curve quickly, simple as that. If I sit down and say, in HR I know everything, I've got 25 years of experience backed with me, I'm the most foolish person on earth today. I need to learn everything. When I started my career in 1994, I never heard what our ERP solution is all about. The entire payroll system was done on not even Excel sheet. It used to be done on a DBS 123, Lotus 123 file, and the printing machine was a dot matrix printer. The entire night used to get printed. You've heard of it, you've seen of it, a dot matrix printer. The entire night, the entire payroll was getting printed, and in the morning they used to take it out, pay slips katta tha, and put it into an envelope with the salary which was in what to say, currency notes, and next morning it was paid to the employee. 1994, not very far from here. Okay. What are we talking today? Payroll is outsourced. Somebody outside is doing it for us. What we did is we just see the dashboard to see whether everything is in order. We just give the click of the button and you and the shared service guy is sharing. And it hits my bank on the 31st of the month and wow, I've got my slip. And within the evening, the slip comes on a PDF, or it's probably you go into the employee service portal and check your slip and download and whatever you do. 94, 2018. 22 years, or 25, how many years? I don't know, 18 plus 6, 24 years. So what I'm trying to say is that in 24 years, we've seen this transition. So next 20 years, what are we going to see? Think a little. You are going to play that role. You're going to play that role, mind you. In whatever functions you are, finance, marketing, maybe business development, be it be in HR, be it be in whatever stream you are in, you're going to play that role. And that role is going to be completely interesting and adaptable to that change. If you yourselves are not adaptable to the change, you've had it. You've had it. And that's the reality going to hit you. So the quicker you learn, read, be abreast, the better it is for you. That's a personal advice. Know what to do with what you know and do it. Every successful leader is a knowledgeable person. When I say knowledgeable person, doesn't mean knowledge of his only subject matter. Knowledge refers to everything to him. Everything. Even your GK is knowledge to you. The latest movies that are coming out in the world are knowledge to you. I have a 20-year-old kid. He's no more a kid, though he's an adult. But I strain myself to know what's happening in the world through his eyes. And when I drop into his college, the only conversation we have is that what happened in the game of Barca yesterday, which movies came out, which is the next movie that, which is the next music that Hans Zimmer is playing. So if I am not abreast with a 20-year-old kid, what happens to me? I'll be considered to be a fossil, that's it. I don't want to be. So do you? So better gear up. It's a great opportunity for you in the coming days, because I'm sure you all are playing that role. You all are in your 20s, and one day you will be standing here and delivering what change you've seen in your life. We've seen this journey. The next journey is going to be a complete digital journey. I don't know what's it going to be, what's bot going to be leading us to, what the entire other mechanism is going to lead us to. I don't know. So many things are happening. Great, isn't it? We're in a great world, I believe. We're in an Elon Musk world. Come on. That's where we are. We are talking about going to Mars. We are talking about having a satellite and going to the moon and enjoying our holidays there. Maybe possible, isn't it? That's the future. That's the future. How much is going to be achievable, I don't know. But the fact remains that that's what the people are thinking beyond today. If they're thinking today, they'll deliver it 20 years down the line, if not earlier. So, knowledge is your power. Not only your domain knowledge. Knowledge of everything that's happening around. And you are the power, because you are the youngsters of who's going to run this country for future, who's going to run companies. So if you are adaptable, if you are going by the learning curve which is steep for you, you have to challenge yourself. You see, within this crowd of 200 students sitting here, or maybe more, there will be somebody who will shoot out. It's going to be that smarter kid who goes ahead. It's because he's not smart. It's because he's made himself smart. He's adapted to the changing. He's believed that I have to be smarter than the others, then I have to change myself day in and day out. If you're not changing yourself, everything is here, mind you. You re-gear yourself here. That's it. The world is easy for you. Well, my next point is about diversity, and global business applies to everybody. See, 15 years down the line, past, what did we know about the world, what's happening, everything? Everything is today Google-centric. We see the world so close through Google, isn't it? Today everything is so close. You just have a WhatsApp call, you can talk to anybody in US. You have a FaceTime call, you can talk to your friend anywhere in the globe. You never imagined this even 15 years ago, isn't it? You needed to book a call, or maybe you need to write an email or something. So you're a global citizen today. You cannot say I'm in India sitting out of Pune. No, the world's gone. You are a global citizen. Believe in that. You got to believe yourself that you're a global citizen. So when you're a global citizen, you need to work with diversity. That is global cultures. That is global cultures, global people, global traditions. You need to understand traditions. You need to respect cultures. Right? You need to respect the person you're talking to. You need to really value what the other person is telling you. Give him that listening communication time. You increase your respect from that other person. Okay? So, diversity is definitely going to be the subject matter of tomorrow. And that's going to change a lot because it's going to be demanding on you. People are going to ask you, have you worked with various cultural people? I can share one example of yours, of mine, sorry. Now, I went to this place in US, and there was a hotel called the Pier. It was a Four Seasons hotel. And the Taj group of hotels, where I was working at that time, was wanting to take over that hotel on a lease from the Four Seasons group. Now, there was this director of, they call it the New York Hotel Association Guild. It's like an union of all the hotel associations, okay. Now, there was this lady, elderly lady of, I don't know her age, but she was the elderly lady. Now, we had a questionnaire to be given to all employees. So, we parked this questionnaire to this lady for her vetting. So, in our questionnaire, as like any Indian company, we write your name, then it comes sex, male or female. We have it, isn't it? Now, she just looks at me and says, what have you done? Now, it's a winter January morning in New York, and understand, I don't know what have I done. She's on the second line and she's saying, what have you done to this? I don't know. I don't have an answer. I said, ma'am, I don't know. How can you ask in US if somebody, sex is a male or a female? I didn't know. You see, I didn't know the culture. I didn't know what they expect. But this was insulting to her. You get my point? It's very easy for us because we think from our hat. Right? So when I want to say, this is a learning for me, and then I geared myself, and when the Taj group of hotels was buying hotels all across the globe, when we went to London, we went to Mauritius, Morocco, Maldives, Bhutan, Dubai, South Africa, the first thing that we do is that adapting to the culture, respecting the tradition. So if you have to be a global citizen in a global company, you need to adapt to everything. Am I making sense? It is required today. Means it's very much required. Even if you're in India, you'll have a lot of foreign people coming and working in India in the future days, let me tell you that. In the IT world, in the retail world, you will have it. Because what I see today is that people will swim across shores. When I say swim across shores, means they will work across nations. It's going to be easier by the day. It is easier today in Europe, barring one or two countries after Brexit. But it's going to be easier, much easier going forward than what it is today. Yes, there will be compulsions of giving employment to internal people and all that, but that will be easier. It will be a seamless world going forward. The last point, I want you to ponder a bit. Be ethical and foster ethical behaviors in others. It's such an important point, you know. We all believe we are ethical. That's a belief we have. But our actions sometimes don't make us ethical. Because ethics is a huge dimension. So I would urge upon you to read some ethical standards and behaviors which is expected from a leader. Because if you have seen in the recent past, without naming companies, without naming leaders, there has been ethical code of conduct issues with some leaders, which they felt was very natural, which they felt was okay. We have seen it coming in the corporate world, we have seen it coming in the movie world, we have seen it coming in the real estate world, in the retail world. So behavior is very important, especially ethical behavior. How you do a business ethically. It's very easy to take shortcuts, your business won't last timeline, the lifetime won't last. Today the Tatas have been there for more than 100 years. I'm giving the name of Tatas because I worked in the company and my present company has been there for more than 60 years. Ethical behavior of leaders is important because they drive the behavior of the company. They instill the culture, because through that your employee culture gets defined. You get my point? So, how to prepare the next generation of leaders? The next generation of leaders, I would say that let them experience everything. When I say let them experience everything, you may be a subject matter expert in finance, but what stops you from learning marketing? Nothing. How do you become a leader otherwise? How do you become a CEO of a firm? You are today doing specializations in your MBA courses, if I am not wrong. But what stops you from not knowing other aspects of the business? If you know, what happens is that you come to know the business better. You wear a business hat instead of only wearing your functional hat and looking like silos, right? So your business becomes a silo-centric approach, and that is where you need a change agent to thrash everything out. No, you know other functions. What stops a marketing guy not to know finance? What stops an HR guy not to know about production? So, rotational programs is going to be the order of the day. Any company should have, or would desire to have more leaders who can rotate people. When you say rotate people, is that if you are doing your HR stint for 3 years and I put you into a marketing stint for the next 2 years, and then again if you want to make a long journey with the company, or if you know I would like to be my functional expert, fine, but take dosages of inputs of the various functions. Am I making sense? Okay. You all would be given stretched goals, let me tell you. Any youngster today coming out of colleges have to burn more than the regular people who are already in the college, in the organization. They have to burn more. You are burning midnight oil today with your projects, with your semester exams and everything, but you need to take my word, you got to burn more. There's going to be a honeymoon period of a month or so, that's it, in corporate life. After that, you better burn more. Accept reality. So when you are into corporate world, mentally be prepared that I need to roll up my sleeves and I need to burn more. Because if you are wanting to make a pitch for yourself, you need to go that extra mile. Simple as that. That extra mile is required by you. And this is not something that I am saying, this is something which organizations demand today. They are demanding, I'm telling you that. Why does an organization have to come all the way and invest money on you? Simple as that. What is the return of investment for an organization? Why do they have to, they could have easily groomed somebody internally? Is it not? Okay, some organizations may say that I need fresh blood, let's come in. They may say this language. But ultimately what the organizations demand or the ask is very steep for you guys. That doesn't mean that you cannot do it, because you can do it. Because today your institutes are training you for it. Today your institutes are giving you such a good infrastructure. Your parents have invested in you. So you need to deliver. If you want to be there. If you want to be stagnant, flat, your call. Because the ask is going to be steep. And it's going to be the best person who wins. I'm not saying it's going to be a jungle Raj, the might is right or something, no. But yes, talent will win. And to be that talent, you need to be on a learning curve, you need to adapt, you need to be flexible, you need to be what you should be telling yourself that I am a leader. But that should not be a fact that मैं ये नहीं काम करूँगा, वो काम करूँगा, ये काम नहीं करूँगा, this is smaller than me. No. So adapt is important. Mind is very important than work. So if your mind is there to really do something, I think you are the person. So I think challenge yourself first, look yourself in the mirror first. Expectations will be there. We will expect business acumen from you, we will expect leadership traits from you, we will expect communication skills from you, we will expect that you can solve complex situations, we will expect all this from you. Okay, expectation ka list is 20 to 30 lists, okay. But look into yourself first and find out what are your core and strength areas. That's very important. If you yourself are aware of your strengths, and you should be aware of your weakness also. I would not say the word weakness, maybe areas of improvement I would say. And work a little towards that every day. Every day. When I joined the industry, I was very hesitant to speak in front of people, very honestly telling you, it was a weakness for me. But I had no choice. I joined a factory in Calcutta, in West Bengal. And I had to talk to workers and to staff in the production line. It was very difficult, you know. I used to rehearse myself in the mirror in the evening. What will I speak tomorrow? Sounds very, I don't know what. Looking back, that is what I did. To adapt myself. But I thought I did the correct thing. I don't know what you were. I just gave, that was my area of weakness. Something I wanted to improve. I just couldn't speak well. In my school, when I was standing and speaking in the assembly, my feet used to tremble. And that's the truth of life. I'm giving you my live example. I looked at the mirror and I used to rehearse myself. Be a criticizer for once, no problem. I'm not saying you have to adapt this technology which I have adapted, but the fact remains is that let's move into that area of betterment from the area, in the area of improvement that I have to do. If you tell yourself that this is my area of improvement, this is what I need to know. Don't compare yourself with the other. He's great, he's good at that, fine, you're also great. Believe in yourself, please. Know your strengths, a few weaknesses everybody has, try to see to that you move into an area of improvement. Expose yourself to the balance sheet of a company when you are into the fray. Finance is very important, I tell you. If you do not have a commercial mind, it will be very difficult for you to talk in the meeting rooms. You need to have a commercial mind. You need to talk well, you need to know the P&L, and when you open your mouth, you should be a bundle of confidence. That's it. The person listening to you should know two things. You've done your homework, you're confident. Don't just talk for the sake of talking. Build your personality from day one. That's your future. Because you're building a credibility, you're building your own brand. Important. Today, each one of you are a brand for yourself. Because once you're doing the learning curve, once you're learning, once you're adapting, fine. But you need to also be there, isn't it? You need to sit on that high table and decide. How do you reach that? So build your own brand in an organization. Develop your own personality. And it starts from today. How you talk, how you walk, how you groom. Have you done your homework? Are you confident? Are you communicating the right message? That is the topic of discussion. Important subject matters, I'm telling you. There may be just, some of you may be thinking, okay, we know all this. I know, you know this. I am aware that you know all this. But you need to hear it again and again. The more you hear, the more it sinks into you. You get my point? Everybody knows about this. Everybody is aware of this. I am not telling anything which is rocket science. I am just giving you a few English sentences. But you need to hear. If you hear more and more as we hear this, it sinks into you. As human minds, we hear so many things, we read so many things, but the more we hear of one thing, somewhere in the subconscious mind, it sinks. That's advertisement. What is advertisement? Does it not roll into your mind because it comes to you? Isn't it? On and on and on. Then it sinks into you somewhere. And then when you go to that market to buy a stuff of a product, you think of that company's product because it has come into your subconscious mind. We are human beings at the end of the day. So even if we hear one thing, okay, this is all cliche, we've heard this, come on. Let's hear something different. But here again, no problem. Enjoy your life. Enjoy it with learning. Even watching a good movie is learning. Let me tell you, it gives you a learning. Even watching a TV show is learning. I'm asked questions by my wife sometimes, why do you watch these shows like Breaking Bad, Better Call Saul, and all this, mafia type movies and all this, drug related TV shows? Narcos, yes, Pablo Escobar, yeah. So I'm not there, I'm not out of you, isn't it? I'm there. So why do we watch it? What does it teach us? Nothing, okay? But it teaches us one thing. How people are adapting, how people are gearing themselves. I'm not saying be negative towards it. Enjoy it. Take some lessons out of it. Move on. Go to the next step. So what I'm trying to tell you guys, you are whatever you call yourselves, Z, ZX, whatever. But enjoy your life. Party. Have fun. Workplace demands. Enjoy that bit also. Don't take it a workplace to be just an 8 to 9 hours work. No. Enjoy it. If you're not happy to come to work, you have to be happy. Happiness is something that you need to sink inside you. If you are not doing it, nobody's going to help you out. The organization can give you platforms. Let me tell you, any organization can give you platforms. They can give you platforms to get recognized. They can give you platforms to grow. They can give you a career portal. They can give you sort of a chatbot to chat and ask HR, hey, what am I leave and all that. But at the end of the day, if you want to enjoy your work and your life, it's up to you. It's you. So at the end of the day, what I find is that preparing for next generation leaders, as we say, is adapting and also believing in yourself that you can be a leader. And to be a leader, I need to do these things in life. Make a checklist of it. What are the things that I'm going to do in the next 20 days? Tick mark. Yehi hum kar diye. This I could not do. Why? Question yourself. Don't ask others to question you. Don't ask your professor to question you why you did not do the project. You ask yourself why you could not do it. Your answer will be very easy. You get my point? Same with when you go to the office, don't let your manager ask you why you didn't do the project. Ask yourself why you couldn't do it. You get a bashing from the manager for sure that you didn't do it. You couldn't do it. You couldn't live up to your timeline. That's okay. But come back, soak yourself and understand why you could not do it. That why is important. If you're not questioning yourself, who's going to question? Your parents will question one or twice, your professor will question you once or twice, your manager will question you once or twice, period, you're gone. After that, what happens? You need to question yourself. You need to find the answer also. If you can't find the answer, take help. But try to move on. Don't get stuck. So anything and everything to do with life and anything and everything to do with the future is here. So if you are adapting to your change, if you are adapting to your surroundings change, if you are adapting to the global change, if you are adapting to the learning curve, you are a future generation leader. I rest my case here. It was a monologue. I'll leave the few minutes, a little bit of interaction. Questions, answer, interactions. Can we do that? Thank you. Now I'll stop for some time, pause. Whatever questions comes in your mind, whatever suggestions you want to give, because I am on the learning curve as I told you, always, please share. I would love to interact.
BIIB junior batch. So I have two questions for you.
Sure.
I would really like you to share your experience about how it was to get your employees' morale back up after the Taj encounter. And my second question is, you keep change, and we saw change in the past 60 years. But my generation is also all about change. We like to keep changing our job. As an HR professional and as your company, what are your policies or measures or any exercises that you do to retain people?
Good. Thank you so much. Two very broad, the first question is experience. The second is a huge broad subject. So I'll try to answer in my own limited time. The first is that, of course, 26/11 happened, and it was a 57-hour ordeal. You all know that. I was heading the HR for the luxury chain of hotels. That is about 28 hotels all around the globe at that time. I was inside the hotel for 47 hours. Experiences cannot be shared in detail right now at the fact that it's a very lengthy one. But yes, I'll go to your question, bang on. There were 34 deaths. Out of that, practically half was of employees who did not leave their ground of work, who did not escape, which is the natural thing to do for anybody. If there's a hostage situation, the first thing people do is to escape, whoever is not under hostage, isn't it? Is it not human instinct? I would urge you to see a 18-minute YouTube clip called The Ordinary Heroes of the Taj. It's today a Harvard Business case review by Dr. Rohit Deshpande. Your answer to what happened that day will be answered. Now coming to your question, yes, the morale was very low because the hotel was shut down and we had to do renovation. We paid salaries every month, but salaries are not the biggest thing in earth. At that time, people were shaken. Families were shaken. Families did not allow their loving son or their loving husband to go back to work. So what we did was that, along with the Tata Institute of Social Sciences and the Taj, we created a group of people who would be, I wouldn't say psychoanalyst or psychiatrist, but just listening counselors. I was one of them. I was trained by the Tata Institute of Social Sciences to be a listening counselor. This was a new subject for me. But I pitched my arm up and say, hey, I want to do it. Because the time was, I had to do it. That was what the leadership call was. That was what the organization needed at that time. 1,500 people working in that hotel. While the renovation was going on, we were nearing completion of the renovation. We had to get people also to onboard again and to work. There was mass resignation. So what we did is that we went to the houses of the people, requesting them to come to some designated centers all across the city of Mumbai. And in small groups of 3 families, 4 families, we sat in the hotel called Taj Lands End, or at the Hotel President, or wherever they felt comfortable. We sat and listened their stories. And they listened, and while listening to their stories, there came out some help that they would desire. Because many of the people were shaken. They had seen death from a few yards away. It shakes your life when you see death. I was shaken too because I saw death of 7 ships in front of me a few meters away. But the fact remained is that we listened and we counseled. And the Tata Institute of Social Science people helped us during that time. It happened. And this counseling didn't last only those 45 1 hour, 2 hour sessions. No, it was multiple in nature. For one family, the sessions lasted about a month, 2 months. So you can imagine there were some 1500 people, means 1500 families. So it was, our entire 2 months were dedicated in only talking to people, listening to people, assisting people, creating the Taj Public Trust, ensuring salaries were on time, ensuring the people who were hurt in the Mumbai massacre in Chhatrapati station, Shivaji station, and also in the Chabad house or at the Oberoi's, we created a trust for them. So we created hope. We could not bring the lost ones, but we tried to create a hope for the future. And that's how slowly we opened the hotel. And the date of the opening of the hotel, I'm glad to say that everybody attended and everybody came in the town hall. The hotel is still up and running. You know that. That's the story of the Taj post 2611. That's the experience which I shared. Now coming back to your second question. My current company, H&R Johnson Tiles, is a respected, reputable company in the tile industry. And it has its own journeys of ups and downs also. And why I showed this clip was that it took us 60 years to reach us here. And we are changing every day. As I talk today, yesterday evening only I was in a strategic meeting of the bath division, which is again gearing for a change. We are a small division in the bath segment, which involves the showers and the sanitary ware and the faucets. We are going big way. We want to go 500 crores in the next 3 years. Ambitious plans, we can achieve it because we have the channel to achieve it. So it's only the mindset of the leadership and the urge and the energy and the enthusiasm we bring it to the field that we can achieve it. How do we retain our youngsters? Good question. We give them platforms, as I told you. We just don't hire. We hire and we take feedbacks, regular feedbacks. That's very important. We have regular sessions with the leadership. In many companies, which I have also seen, leadership is not approachable. Leadership is seen probably once or twice in a year. Here it's consistent. So any leader who visits any branch is expected to talk to all newcomers. We consider newcomers to be at least 0 to 2 years old. Many companies consider to 0 to 6 months. We consider till a 2 year you are a newcomer to us because you are still in the journey. Retention has got various platforms, but one core platform that I personally visualize is that we have to be a listening organization. If an organization is listening, it actually solves 50% of your job because you are hearing. If you are hearing a person, the person will be able, and you are approachable of course, the person will actually share with you your concerns. Many organizations are failing today of this because they are not listening to their employees. They are only taking a decision in the boardroom. So there is a top-down strategic approach, but we have to have a feedback bottoms up also. That is, what is your employee saying? You cannot find it only through a Aon Hewitt or a IBM Connexa or a global employee satisfaction survey. No. You need to yourself listen. So what we have done is that we have got regular town halls with our managing director and myself and the executive directors on the board. We listen, we talk to people, we have skip level meetings. I'm not going into the other retention measures of salaries, compensations, career growth. I'm talking of the softer aspects I'm talking of. That leadership is coming to you. And we are not vindictive if somebody is complaining about something. That is a big thing because youngsters don't want to voice out. They have a bad manager, they don't want to voice out because what will happen? Aap to sun ke chala jaoge. I have to live with this person for the next 24 hours. What will happen to me? So we are not a vindictive organization. So there are certain platforms we are trying to make through which we are assuring our people that hey, you've come to an organization which listens, which cares for you, which tries to help you, and which will be with you. I think these are some of the bigger aspects rather than what we do as measures, what we generally see as measures in textbooks or what we do it We've got platforms. There is a career portal. You can move into another job. You can move into another. You can grow. You can take a skill certification approach and move up the ladder. They're all there. That's all. That's all part of the job. But what is important is the human aspect, the software aspect. I think that's what makes the person tick in the organization. I hope I have answered your question. Thank you.
What are your views on HR as a business growth partner? Does this relationship for all partners between HR and business keep organization or competitive?
Firstly, I want to understand the logic. What do you understand by HR and business?
Like HR is contributing towards the strategic planning or annual planning, long-term planning.
Okay, I'll make it comfortable for you. Sit down. Good question, because this is a very important subject today. I don't see HR as only HR. That's the first step I want to tell you. I see myself as a business manager first, who is actually leading the people agenda. You get my point? It's not I am an HR head, part of business. I am a business manager first, leading the people agenda. That's my first definition, which I have. If you believe that you're a business manager first, half your problems are solved. You are a subject matter expert on the people agenda. Somebody is a subject matter expert on the finance agenda. Somebody is a subject matter expert on the marketing agenda. But you are a business manager. So to be a business manager, you have to know the business first. You have to know the business first. You have to understand the business first through presentations, through Excel sheets, through P&L statements, but go to the floor, in the sense that go to the regions, go to the zones, go to the plant, understand the business, go to the supply chain management, how it actually happens. Then don your people hat, and then sit in the table. And see, then there's a group of 3-4 experts, subject matter experts, all are business manager, and there's a CEO. Decision making becomes easy, simple, because everybody is talking the same language. Only when it comes to finance, I'll bank upon the finance guy to lead us there. When it comes to the HR, we'll bank upon the HR guy, but everybody is talking one language, business. Have I answered your question? Thank you.
Good afternoon, sir. Sir, here.
Where are you? Okay.
I'm Costa from BIIM 1719 batch. So I have a general question. Sir, as we know that 6,
You seem to
7...
be very popular.
As, thank you. As we know, sir, from now onwards, from 6-7 months from now, there would be general elections. So how would it affect the campus placements, and to what extent?
You think elections has impact on placement? Just asking.
Sir, we have been told such.
Difficult to answer, but you see, what happens is that, I know why have you been told. What happens during any election time in India especially, let's now putting into the Indian concept, because we are in India. So we don't know which way things go. The business doesn't know which way things go. You get my point? Today, at the end of the day, we are a business house. At the end of the day, we have to see costs, we have to see profitability, we have to see growth, isn't it? So people become conscious. If I have taken 100 people yesterday as freshers, will the business need be for 100, or will it be for 80, or will it be for 120? It's a business call. So I wouldn't completely generalize it by saying and giving a stamp saying that the elections will have a negative impact on the hiring from the colleges. I would say that it depends on company to company how they want to look into things. Where are you? Yeah. Trade war. Okay. Between. Okay. And how much of tariff has US imposed upon China? Okay, carry on. See why I asked, because it's all in Google, yeah. It's all in InShots today, isn't it? Carry on. Which product? See, trade wars, it's a marketing thing. Trade was always at war. Every company will have its own EXIM policy. Every company will have their own rights to tariff. Today the US is having its right on tariff. They have allowed, if you are talking of China, they have allowed China to give so much of thing in US. They have been relaxed on that. If you go to US today, 90% of their products are from China only. So it's not going to be an easy game for the US economy for sure to impose tariffs and continue with it, because the economy is dependent on the Chinese economy to a large extent. In terms of India, we've had earlier also steel being dumped in the 90s and early 2000s. At the same time, when China required to hold the Olympics, I don't know, went from India and got dumped. So it's going to be a part of the, or I don't see much, it's going to be a journey of, as a, business, trade, EXIM, they will have its highs and lows. Crude oil prices were at 30, today it is reaching nearly 100. Simple as that. At 30 also, business does, that's where that change comes in. That you change levers of business, simple as that. That's where leadership comes in. Hey, this is going to be, so let's change accordingly. Today your petrol prices are 90 rupees nearly, 80, 85, I don't know exactly, but what, 86 rupees. So as a customer, as a consumer, I am re-gearing maybe. Some people will look at alternatives of traveling in a metro, some will travel in an auto, some will take a train. Hoga na? What are you, why, in the house are you not doing it? Kya? If you are doing it in the house, economy also moves like that. Re-gear, reshift, realign, adapt.
Hello sir,
Hi.
Rohit Arya here from IB Marketing. Sir, often it happens that, at a workplace that people who indulge in sycophancy, they get
People who indulge in sycophancy.
Yes sir.
Give me an example. Interesting.
So like, just, what can I say? They will not work, but they'll just, keep on praising their boss. That's it.
Butter लगा रहा है. Basically, that is what I say. तेल polish कर रहा है. वही बता रहे हो ना. चलो आगे बढ़ो.
हाँ sir.
हाँ.
So they get preferred over people who would have really worked hard on the project. So sir, then is sycophancy a necessary aspect of workplace, or how to avoid it? Like, please sir.
See, I like the question because it's reality. I don't want to hide behind the question. Sit down. Again, you are going to be the next leader, isn't it? You don't believe it. It depends on the leader. Na? It depends on the leader. If you want to butter me and the butter doesn't stick in my body, then what is the use? It depends on the leader. Na? You get my point? It depends person to person, but I cannot deny that it is not there. It is there. Every organization will have these characters. So that is where you will come in. Na? See, today if there are 10 characters like this and 2 are change agent, it will be difficult. But if there are 5 change agent and 2 characters like this, then the push will automatically make them. So it's going to be you. If you believe that you are the future leader, don't get sucked into all that. You see, our psyche, is very simple. We show exceptions and live with that as if it is a norm of the day. But there's a larger reality also, which is moving on. You get my point? So there will be such characters, ignore them, which you feel, for example, if my leader is going to stay and usko to bhai maska nahi marne se hamara career uncha nahi jayega. You should have a straight discussion with the leader. Doesn't work out, you move on. There's a world outside, period. But before moving on, you should give this feedback to your HR or the CEO of the company. This is why I'm moving on. And give them time also. If they can change things, fine. Otherwise, you move on. Period. Nobody is telling you to get married in an organization for 20 years. Nobody. But the fact remains, if you want to, you be that leader, na? And you do not go by in that step. Are we making sense? I'm giving you reality, bang on, I'm telling you. Okay. So no more, it looks like, you all seems to be, at least I tried to make it interactive as far as possible. Hopefully. So what I'll do is that I think before I wrap up, with Shardul, I'll request you before I wrap up this session, firstly, I would like to show a small clip of a CSR initiative which Johnsons have done. Is it the Red Ram project? Huh? It will be the Red Ram project. Have a look into it. You see, while we talk about leadership, we talk about everything, we have a role to play as an organization. And as leaders, it is good to give also. You see? So I would request you with this thought, I'll park it to you all, that while we are talking about all this, think about also giving back to society. With that, I'll show you this clip.
आनंद की तरंग मोको
सुनो, फिर देर नहीं हो रही आज। नाश्ते में क्या खाओगे?
अंडा भुर्जी।
ब्रेड तो खत्म हो गई है, अब रुको मैं लेकर आती हूँ।
रुको, आज मैं लाता हूँ। चाचा, एक ब्रेड तो दे दो।
आज बिटिया नहीं आई साथ में?
आज मैं अकेला ही आ गया।
बेटा, ये लो।
बात एक रोड क्रॉस करके ब्रेड लाने की नहीं है, बात है आत्मविश्वास जगाने की।
आनंद की तरंग मोको, आनंद की तरंग मोको, सुखद भये मोको, सुखद भये आनंद की।
Thank you.